Hey, soccer fans and strategic investors. I am Nick with Sons of a Pitch Soccer Central's betting picks and predictions. Major League Soccer Week 20 ish. We're looking at July 16th and 17th, Saturday and Sunday games. Forget the intro, forget the sweet talk. We are going to get right into the picks and predictions with a little advice first. If you are new to Major League Soccer and soccer betting, or if you're an old vet that just needs a reminder, a couple things you need to keep in mind when you are wagering on Major League Soccer games. First, check the injury reports and lineups. A lot of people aren't going to put a lot of money down till they know for sure who is starting and who's available on the bench for these teams. MLS doesn't give out big injury reports like some of the other leagues. Secondly, don't bet with your heart, bet with your head, bet with the odds, bet with their run of form. Just don't bet with your heart. Because as a Chicago guy, I know how that can come back and bite you. Finally, set your limits. For me, betting is entertainment. Picking and predicting is entertainment. I'm not going to get too hung up about it. And I'm also not going to lose my next mortgage payment over it. One other thing, this weekend in MLS, there are still a number of rivalry games out there. Make sure you take that into consideration because, as you know, with rivalries, anything can happen. Now, as the saying goes, money won is twice as sweet as money earned. So let's get into how you can earn some money yourselves by looking at our picks and predictions. I'm looking at DraftKings board and odds. Right now, it is Wednesday, July 13th in the evening. So these are the odds as of that time, around 9:30 Central Time. These may change again. Check your lineups. Check everything that could affect these games, weather, whatever you want to think of. But it starts off with the Union hosting the Revolution. Now, the Union are coming off a big win against bottom feeder DC United. But not just like, oh, good, they beat the bad team. They beat them 7-0. MLS record for a win, 7-0. Ties a prior record, I should say. New England Revolution coming off that just heartbreaking defeat to NYCFC where they conceded 3 penalties. I don't see anything changing. I don't think the Revs get back on track, especially at Philadelphia, and I don't think the Union are going to have a huge regression. They finally found what works for their offense. I'm picking the Union in this one. Despite being the heavy favorites, I'm still picking the Union even to make some money on it. Next game up, another one of those rivalry matchups. Montreal is hosting Toronto FC, and I have to go again with the favorite, Montreal. They're at home. They're top 4 in the Eastern Conference. Toronto just turned off the game where they looked lost against what has been a very bad Chicago Fire team. Chris Mavinga got burned on defense, and even after an early substitution by coach Bob Bradley, they did not look like they were going to have a solid back line or threaten at any point in that game. Maybe Insigne gets in for this point. Maybe some of their new signings step up, but I don't know if they can integrate them that quickly in one game, especially to travel to rival Montreal. I'm sticking with the Impact. Next up, Minnesota United hosts DC. I'm going chalk one more time here. Minnesota United is coming off a few games of good results. I don't think they've lost in their last 5 or so. Maybe tonight's game, this Wednesday night game, will prove me wrong on that. But they've been playing really well, and DC is, as of right now, the worst team in the Eastern Conference, if not all the league. I don't see that changing at Minnesota, despite maybe a Wayne Rooney bump. Who knows what's going on when he's going to actually take over coaching duties and be on the sideline. Minnesota to beat DC United. Next matchup, Chicago Fire, my hometown team, hosting at Soldier Field on the lakefront, the Seattle Sounders, who have to travel all the way from Seattle. Seattle comes off that bad loss to Portland in one of their recent matches and in the last rivalry matchup, 3-0. I don't expect the Sounders to lose 2 in a row. But the Fire have gotten some momentum at home. They beat just now Toronto FC 2-0. They had a 2-0 lead at home against Columbus the prior week, and then their defense collapsed, losing 3-2. So I'm going to pick the draw on this one. I think Seattle's going to rotate because it's a cross-conference game, and I think Chicago's going to keep that momentum going at home. And given this talent gap between the two teams, I'm going to pick the draw. Next up, we are looking at Miami hosting Charlotte. Despite Charlotte's big win against Nashville, I just don't think the expansion franchise can keep this momentum going, and I'm going to pick Miami. Miami has had some good luck this last week, getting or I should say had some bad luck with an own goal going against them, losing to Orlando City. I think they bounce back. I think they're actually a better team than I used to think earlier on in the season. Phil Neville's doing a better job than I was giving him credit for. I'm starting to come around on Miami here. I think they take care of business against Charlotte. They are favored as well if you're looking at the odds. Now, the next matchup, Colorado is hosting the Galaxy, and this was a tough one for me. I'm going to pick the draw on this one, to be perfectly honest with you, because, I mean, Colorado's playing some decent soccer, not getting the wins, getting some draws. The Galaxy have been up and down. They're kind of in a down stretch, but I think they know now's the time to make a run, and Colorado, after dropping points to RSL last week, I don't think they're as good as people think they are. I think Greg Vanney's going to find a way to take advantage of them and walk away with the draw, which is actually some decent odds there at plus 250. Next matchup, staying in the Western Conference, FC Dallas hosts intrastate rival Austin FC. I'm picking Austin. I am picking Austin. I know they're traveling. I know Dallas has been really good, but I think Austin's offense is just gonna be there. I think they're gonna turn up for it despite the away game. The draw was tempting here because that's what their last result was, and they just played within the last 2-3 matches. So make sure you go take a look at that. But I think Austin gets the job done in this one, despite being the away team. And because of that, they've got some good odds, good money to be made if you're taking Austin. Next match, going to the Eastern Conference, Atlanta United, banged up, beaten up, dogging it. Atlanta United is hosting Orlando City. Now, Orlando City, like I said, got that lucky goal, that own goal against Miami in stoppage time to barely beat them 1-0 last match. But Atlanta coming off some poor performances. Joseph Martinez calls the squad out, says that they're not trying hard enough in training in the games, and then calls out the front office for signing guys who don't really want to be there, that they're not looking at the soccer side of things. Does that inspire the team? I don't know, but Joseph is going to be playing inspired. He can't do it himself, which is why I'm picking the draw. I think he's going to find the back of the net, and I think Orlando gets some offense going, and I'm taking the draw in that one. What's weird about that Atlanta-Orlando game is that according to DraftKings right now, both the draw and an Orlando win are at plus 300. So I don't think you should put any money on Atlanta unless you know something that the bookies don't. Now, the next matchup, another big rivalry game in the Eastern Conference. New York Red Bulls hosting NYCFC. I'm taking the draw in this one because I think it's going to be similar to that Red Bull Cincinnati game where the Red Bull press shuts down a high-powered offense and brings a lot of balance to the game. Excuse me. I've been watching some Star Wars with the kids lately. I think the Red Bulls press and their defense will balance out New York City's offense. I'm going to take the draw in that one. It might be a 2-2 draw. It might be a 3-3 draw. It might be a 4-4 draw looking at some of those results from NYC, but I still think it's going to be a draw, and the odds on that one are plus 265. Next up, Crew is hosting Cincinnati. The hell is real Derby, or Derby, however you pronounce it. I think it's kind of a silly thing here in America, but that's what we got. Hell is real in Ohio, and the Columbus Crew, they are the favorite here at minus 130. I'm going to pick them to win this game. I know Cincinnati's been playing really well, but Columbus just upgraded with Cucho Hernandez. He got a goal. He got the game winner against Chicago. He had a brace in their match tonight, and I think that Columbus gets back in the win column after tonight's draw. I think Cincinnati is probably going to play a game, but at plus 300 odds, you could make some money here if you think Cincinnati is going to come out firing, but I think Columbus finally has found their groove. Nashville hosts LAFC in the next matchup, and we're well into the Sunday matchups now. This is the Sunday night primetime game here. Nashville hosts LAFC. Not much to discuss. Nashville hasn't had good form. LAFC is the best team in the league. Probably going to see Bale and Chiellini in this one, so I'm going to pick LAFC at plus 190. San Jose then hosts the Houston Dynamo. Now, San Jose's beating the Galaxy right now 2-0 last I looked, but they're such an up and down team. Lately, they've had a decent run of form. However, who have they played? They have played Galaxy team that's struggling. They have played a Chicago team that's been bad. I think they come across a Houston team that's a little more competent, a little more consistent. I'm going to take Houston to win this game at plus 225. Next match, RSL hosts Sporting Kansas City. Nice rivalry matchup there. I think that this one ends in a draw. Sporting Kansas City, despite struggling for most of the season, has had a couple good results and gotten some points in a few matches. But it took a bit of Roger Espinoza magic to pull their last win out. And I think in this one, that is going to start to fall short. But I don't think RSL is poised to pounce and put a few goals in. I'm picking the draw at plus 250 for this one. And the final game, Portland Timbers hosting Vancouver Whitecaps, Cascadia Cup rivalry match. I'm taking the Timbers after what they did to Seattle and how they are starting to get healthy and get back into things. I think that the Timbers have got Vancouver's number and are going to make a real solid push for the playoffs. I mean, they're the favorites at minus 155, but that's for good reason. I am picking the Timbers there. So, everyone, let's take a quick look now at my recap here so you can see what I am going with. I've got Philadelphia, Montreal, and Minnesota all winning, Chicago and Seattle to draw, Miami to beat Charlotte, Colorado and the Galaxy to draw, Austin to defeat Dallas, Atlanta draws Orlando City, Red Bulls draw New York City, Columbus to win the Hell is Real Derby, LAFC to beat Nashville, Houston over San Jose, RSL and SKC to draw, and then Portland to defeat Vancouver. Now, if you look at my record on the season, I'm 17-24. Last week, I went 507-7, and honestly, it was the draws that got me. It's not that I was picking the wrong team to win or lose. I was just not picking the draws right. So that's where I think you guys can make your money. Look at those draw odds. Look at those road favorites. Those are some places where you can find some value, especially during rivalry week. So let me put my picks up again for a little bit, and I wish you all good luck. I hope you come back with some money. Let me know in the comment section who you're putting your money on. And remember what I said at the beginning of the show. Check your lineups, don't bet with your heart, and know your limits. And especially in rivalry week, don't be surprised if there are some odd results and some big upsets. Good luck, happy betting, enjoy the matches.